Good people of YouTube, what's going on? How y'all doing? Hope y'all having a fabulous day today. Welcome. If this is your first time here, for my guys who have been part of my channel, welcome back. And before someone says it, I know I've been gone. Sorry, y'all. Listen, life just be happening and I get busy. So sorry for the hiatus, but I'm back with another review for you guys for today. For today's review, we'll be doing an overlook and we'll be discussing the Smith Wesson metal carry comp, or M&P 2.0 metal carry comp, if you want to use the long names. But if you've been on my channel before, you know I hate long names, and this is no exception. Regardless of, it's a new gun that kind of hit the market over the summer, and yeah, let's talk about this thing. Before we get started though, y'all know the drill. We always got to make sure we're safe, so got to make sure we drop the mag, check it. It is loaded, the mag is loaded, but the gun, not loaded at all. Everything's good. All right, so let's get started with the review. So the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0 metal carry comp. My God, can you guys please stop with the long names, please? Anyway, this is another addition to pretty much the Smith & Wesson line of firearms. If you guys are not familiar or are unaware, comp guns are pretty much in right now. Every company is releasing a comped version or comped firearm in general. And Smith & Wesson is no exception to that. This is just building off what they already had, but adding a comp in there. So Springfield, they just released the Echelon comp. I mean, they kind of killed the Echelon by not doing anything with it within the year of it releasing. But they just released a comp version. That's cool. They even released a comped Hellcat, despite already having a comped Hellcat. Now, it was an external comp, but the new Hellcat has the kind of comp that is similar to all the comps that are kind of coming out, where they're just cutting a jelly bean in the actual slide in the actual barrel. So like I said, pretty much every company is releasing a comped version of a firearm, and Smith & Wesson is no exception to that. This gun has been out for quite some time. I think it came out in June or July. I got my hands on mine pretty much in July, but I wanted to actually get some range time with this firearm before I did a review on it. So I got a couple rounds, quite a few rounds to this gun, so I can kind of give you guys my real experience on it and you know, kind of break it down for you guys. So we're gonna do the breakdown like normal. So like I said, I mean, this gun is practically built on the same ecosystem that Smith & Wesson has been releasing guns on. So it's just an M&P 2.0 full-size gun, but it does have some slight variances between what is current on the market or has been current on the market and this gun. For one, this gun is a fully metal firearm. So when we talk about fully metal, I mean fully metal. So the actual frame on this gun is aluminum, full through and through. There is no polymer on any piece of this actual frame. If there is any polymer, nope, not even there. I was gonna say if there is any polymer, it'd probably be on the actual slide release, but not even there. It's full metal. Obviously, metal slide. Pretty much, like I said, it's based on the current M&P 2.0 series guns, just a metal variant of it. Obviously, we know that Smith & Wesson has released metal versions of this gun already, or M&Ps already. So this is just an addition to that. There's not really anything that's like groundbreaking if you're used to the metal series of Smith & Wesson firearms. But for those who are unfamiliar with Smith & Wesson and their metal carries or metal gun series or whatever they do out over there at Smith & Wesson, this is a full-sized striker fired 17 round capacity handgun that is fully metal from the top to the bottom. This gun is part of their Smith & Wesson Performance Center package or level of guns that they always do. Now, I'm not fully versed on Smith & Wesson or well versed on Smith & Wesson. Smith & Wesson, for a long time, I avoided. They were never really my favorite or top firearms manufacturers, not because the guns aren't good, just mostly because they were never really attractive to me. I've never really found none of their firearms attractive per se. I know that they have a huge fan base when it comes to the M&P line, Shield line, all those different firearms that they release. I know they have a fan base. I just wasn't part of that fan base. And plus, I'm not really a political guy. I don't like getting into politics or nothing like that. But they have, for lack of a better term, they did some shit last year that I really didn't support. So I was like, I'm gonna stay away from y'all. But when I did see that they released this firearm, I did get intrigued. My interest peaked quite a bit. And I really wanted to see, for my first Smith Wesson, what they got going on over there. So that's when I picked this up. So what is the difference between this gun and obviously their regular M&P 2.0? Not really much. Like I said, I mean, it's metal gun. The big selling point or the takeaway of this firearm is the actual integrated comp on this gun. So if you look right here on the actual slide, or on the top of the slide, has lightning cuts right here, but it has a cut right here on the slide, but it also has a cut within the barrel. We can actually go ahead and show you guys again, but we can go ahead and show. That's actually how it looks on the actual barrel. So this is where the cut is there. This is where the line's right there. And this is kind of how they work together to release that external combustion or gas or whatever the case may be. So this is the big selling point of this firearm, is really the internal comp. Now, on the conversation of internal comps, that's kind of been a big topic these days, because if you ask any professionals, or if you ask the well actually guys, or if you ask anybody who has any familiarity with traditional external comps, they say this is not a comp. They pretty much say that this is technicality, but it's not really a comp. In the general definition of what a compensator is and what it does, people have been arguing this since the beginning of the year of what is a comp and what is not. This was kind of my first go round at a compensated gun. I did end up picking up a comp for another gun of mine in my collection, but as far as my first comped gun, this is my first go at it. So I don't know what is a comp, what is not, what is, you know, the breakdown of the technical or scientific info regarding it, but they've been arguing this whole shit about what is a comp and what is not. So to the experts, this is not a traditional comp or a comp at all. But what they call it is that it basically is a system where the rifling on the gun ends earlier than it normally would, which is kind of the actual or traditional breakdown of what a compensator does. So, or what a compensator should do. And they say in this instance, this gun doesn't really do that. Now for reference, I do have my P365X macro here. Well, it was an X macro, now it's a P365X slide on an X macro frame with the Radian Ramjet Afterburner combo, which I love this thing so much. I'll do a video on this as well. I did a short on it, but I didn't really do a video on this gun. But in the traditional sense, this is a traditional compensator. It's external, so obviously when you break it down and you look at it like this, external comp. So in the traditional sense, this is a compensator, but this is not. So again, that's just the arguments that's happening. And you know, you can argue that amongst yourselves. I don't really care. But that is what they're saying when it comes to actual compensators and all this other jazz. Now, as far as my stance on the argument, I don't really give a fuck too much about what it's called or the scientific, you know, reasonings or whatever the case may be. My biggest thing is, does it do what it's advertised to do? That's all I care about. I let you guys or the experts argue about what this is and what it's not all they want. My biggest thing is, does it do what it's advertised to do? That's all I care about. But anyways, to get back into this gun right here, 4.2 inch barrel or 4.22 inch barrel. So pretty much all of your M&P 2.0 full-sized 4.25 inch holsters and stuff like that will work with this thing just fine. 17 round capacity. It comes with 2 magazines in the box. It also comes with a optics ready system on it already. It supports Smith & Wesson's Core series optics system, so because the gun is optics ready, obviously, but it does support their whole little system, which is like plastic plates and all the other stuff. Now, I'm not using that plate at all. I don't have trust in plastic plates. I know some people do. Cool if it works for you. I have no issues with it or nothing like that if you want to use it, but for me, I like metal on metal contact. So I am not running those Core plates. I literally got them, seen how flimsy they were, chucked them shits in the trash, or they're somewhere in my box or something like that, but I'm not using them. I'm actually using a calculated kinetics optics plate on here, which is really cool. It actually serves two purposes. For one, it's metal. And secondly here, if you look at the front of the optic and the actual ejection port on this gun, if you see it right here, if you see that ejection port, a lot of this, a lot of the gunk that comes out when you fire around or when you're firing through this gun comes straight up, which actually gunks up your actual optic front sight. So this front glass will be gushed up. You can't really see anything. It'll really destroy your vision through this actual optic. So with this one plate, they're just called their Mad Dog or dog tag plate, I believe it's called. I think it's their dog tag plate. But what this plate does is that it actually raises up at the end of the plate, and it actually protects the optic from that gunk coming in and hitting that glass. So it doesn't obstruct your view. It actually, you know, helps significantly, at least in my case. I love that. About 60 bucks. I'm cool with that. I'd much rather use these plates than any other plate system for the M&Ps, and hell, even any other gun, because they offer plates for all the other guns. But for this case, this optic plate for me is a 10 out of 10. I highly recommend it. Taking a look at the rest of the gun, we're gonna get on the iron sight. So all metal sights, iron sights. So it has an all blacked out rear U sight and a front post with a fiber optic yellow sight in the front. All metal, really cool. I will say these iron sights are practically useless for me. I cannot see through them. I think it depends on what optic you're using as well as what plate you may be using. But if you don't use any of these other plates or whatever, you might be okay. However, with this gun, it didn't come with a 509 or acro plate, so I did have to buy one, obviously, like I just discussed. But these iron sights are practically useless. You can't use them. I can't see through them at all. I mean, I can see through the front post, but the rear one is pretty much DOA. I can't use the shit at all. So you're probably gonna wanna get those swapped out to some suppressor height sights. I would recommend it. I don't see why you wouldn't. But like I said, again, just something to think about and keep in mind. But other than that, I mean, really cool sights. I dig them. Looking at the trigger on this gun, it is their Smith Wesson hinge trigger, which is pretty much critically acclaimed at this point. I know the M&P 1.0s and stuff were pretty known for shitty triggers. This trigger is, I love it. I mean, it's a really good trigger. I don't know if this is just part of their performance series, a gun, or, you know, performance center guns or whatever. But even if it isn't, I would hope that they put it in all their other guns, because this trigger is just amazing. I know a lot of people like to swap them to the Apex triggers, but I really haven't had a reason to feel like I needed it. I actually love this trigger quite a bit. So I'm probably gonna rock with this one and just keep it how it is. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about that trigger. Looking at the grips on this actual gun, they are removable. I will say on this grip module, or just this grip in general, this fucking texture is aggressive. At least it was when I first got it. It's a very aggressive texture. Oh my God, this shit is a cheese grater. It was fucking my hands up quite a bit when I first got it. Over time, I kind of got used to it, but this is aggressive, way more aggressive than I'm used to. And I say that coming from a Staccato C2, where it had the star pattern grip that everybody hates. And this grip was more aggressive than that. I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. Like, it took me a while to get used to it. At first, I thought I was gonna have to shave it down or put some goon tape on this. But I mean, over time, I've gotten used to it and I'm cool with it now. I'm probably just gonna keep them how it is. So they do have a little bit of play in them, at least in this front piece. Definitely some play. They're not really sitting as firm as they should. The rear one is fine. I haven't had any problems with this front one. Yeah, it's definitely some play in there. So, I mean, I don't know if that's just a Smith & Wesson thing, but it is more play than I'm accustomed to. So it's another thing to kind of look at as well. Also, too, talking about it, the 23 round mag, M&P magazines work in this thing just fine. Like I did say, they do come with two 17 round mags, but the 23 rounders work just fine if anybody was curious. Thought it was really, really cool. And I also like that with the Smith & Wesson guns that the mags are cheaper. These mags were about, I think my two 17 rounders that I bought after the fact was like 30 something bucks, like $32. And I think this one may have been like 40 something. As opposed to my X Macro, where those magazines are like $60, $70. And that's why I still only have like 2 or 3 of them, because that's insane. I mean, shout out to Smith & Wesson for making some highly affordable magazines for this thing as well. So what's it like shooting this thing? So like I said, I've had this thing since July. I put quite a bit of rounds through it. Shot all different kind of grains, all different types of other ammo. I've shot Blazer through this thing. I've shot Spear Lawman, all different grains, 115, 124, 147. I've even shot some Syntech 150 grains through it, which obviously is useless because that's subsonic ammo. But I just want to see, I think that's all I had that day after I ran out of the rest of my ammo. So I just want to see if it was cycle, and it did just fine. So like I said, I put all kind of rounds with this thing. I put Federal HST. I put in Spear Gold Dot as well. This thing has chewed every single round that I've put through it. I haven't had a single issue through this firearm. It's a very accurate gun. It feels very good to shoot in hand. My God, I don't know if it's that whole metal thing they got going on, as well as the actual comp playing a role with one another. But this gun is accurate. It's pinpoint accurate. Everything that I'm hitting, dot, 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 it's literally just an amazing firearm. It's well balanced as well. I haven't had any problems with this thing. I love the way that the actual comp or porting on this thing, whatever you guys I already said how I feel about it, but whatever you want to decide that this thing is, it does it just fine. Like I said in the beginning, I don't really care what the gun is called or what the actual feature that this thing is, whether it's a comp, whether it's a port, whatever it is, does it do what I need to do, and does it do it well? And in this case, it does. It does absolutely what I wanted to do. Like I said, it's a well-balanced gun. When I actually go out and shoot, I have no problems with it whatsoever. It is truly super well balanced, super flat. Feels good. Like I said, full size. So I don't know if it's the whole metal thing that plays a part with the grip and everything, but it definitely does what I need to do, and it does it well. I've taken this gun to the range practically every time that I've gone to the range at this point between July and now, because I just have so much fun shooting this thing. It's super duper fun. It was boringly reliable. I don't really have much negative to say about this firearm. I did see a couple reviews from other people that they're having their own experiences in regard to like the grip or the actual slide. I know some people are talking about the slide release getting caught and causing some failures to feeds and all that other stuff. Fortunately for me, I haven't had that problem. I haven't had any issues out of this gun. It's just been boringly reliable since day one. I have some shooting footage that I'm gonna put in here, but it's just been everything. Even from the top to bottom, it's just been great. Now, I will say, shooting this firearm, just because of how everything is on it, it does get dirty a little bit quicker. I've noticed that it definitely does have a little bit more gunk than my other guns do from a typical range day session. Really can't avoid that. It's really just what it is. Another thing I dig about this gun, it's fully Ambi out of the box. There's a slide release on this side, so I really like that. But there's also one on the other side. Shout out to Smith Wesson for thinking about us wrong-handed shooters. I represent for us, by the way. So also the mag release is also Ambi, which shout out to them again, because out of all my guns that I've ever swapped mag releases on, this was the easiest. My Glocks, my TX22s, my SIGs, any other gun that I've had, it's always been a pain in the ass to swap over that mag release. This shit was simple. Shout out to them. Very simple system. I dig it a lot. At that top slide, I love the color contrast on this actual gun. The slide is like this gunmetal gray kind of color, and the actual frame is black. It just looks really, really cool. The slide serrations on this thing, they are a bit aggressive. They're like fish scales in a bit, but also looks really cool. Some people are not a fan of the actual serrations. I like them. I like how firm they feel. I like how they point out quite a bit. It just makes me feel a little bit better when I'm grabbing the slide. I don't have no issues with that. Obviously, like I said, we have the cut here and then we have the lightning cut there. So like I said, I'm a big fan of this gun. I have really nothing negative to say about it. This gun has just been everything that I really wanted it to be. So yeah, I don't really have much negative to say. Now, that's not to say that this gun is perfect. I will say that. There's really not much negative to say about it, once again. But if there were some things that I would change, definitely these sights. I truly think that they should have thought about this a little bit better. Make sure you get the right sights for this. I've heard some people say that it is not only a pain in the ass to remove these iron sights, but it's very difficult to get the right ones as well through Smith & Wesson. Y'all do your own research on that. I haven't decided if I'm gonna change these irons yet, but yeah, that's something that I would probably change on this. Also too, I'd probably slim down a little bit or trim this thing down a little bit with the actual stippling on the grip modules, because again, very, very aggressive. I did get used to it, but it's still aggressive for me. I definitely had to get used to that. Didn't really know how I felt about it, but yeah, I would lower that quite a bit. Just lower it a little bit now, you know, chop it down a little bit more, make it a little bit more comfortable. This shit feels like fucking sandpaper, like a porcupine or some shit. But like I said, other than that, I mean, I really don't have anything negative to say on this gun. I think it's a great shooter. I'm gonna keep this gun. I usually kind of try to swap out guns if they don't serve any purpose to me, which is why my Echelon is gone, because I pretty much sold and traded my Echelon in for this. And I think that was a really great decision for me. I just have a really good time shooting this gun. It's super duper fun. It's an ultra reliable. I'm gonna actually maybe start carrying this thing, to be real. I gotta get a holster for it, but I mean, for everything that this gun has been, the cost of this gun, I think it's about a grand, yeah, I think it's about $1,000 or something like that. But for the most part, like I said, really cool. I would have liked to get a little bit better box or packaging for this gun for $1,000, but I mean, that's a whole other conversation for another day. It's that typical blue Smith & Wesson Performance Center box. I would have loved to get a better one, but I'm not super duper nitpicky. This is cool, this is fine. It's really all about the gun. It's not really about the packaging. So yeah, guys, there goes my review of the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0 metal carry comp. Jesus fucking Christ, that name. But this is the review on this firearm. Appreciate you guys for stopping by. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that review. And just to talk about some things really quick, I do got some reviews coming out because I know a lot of people have been, you know, hitting me up about the next reviews, stuff like that. I got a lot of reviews on the way. TX22 review with the Otter Creek Labs titanium suppressor, that's coming. I also did pick up the new Staccato C. This is the full-size variant of that gun. Got a review coming on this as well. Just stay tuned, it's all coming. And one more review I'm probably gonna do on the way is the P365 Radian Ramjet Afterburner combo. Got a lot of reviews on the way, so appreciate you guys for the support, appreciate you guys for the patience, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.